So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm leaving the studio, going to a coffee shop, and letting the space inspire me. Welcome to a whole new series where we make a mug inspired by a coffee shop. As the new year has started, I want to start new projects that have nothing to do with mass production. So to get ourselves out of the house and out of our comfort, let's go get some coffee. Hey guys, my name is Misha and I'm a full-time ceramicist and studio owner here in San Diego. And this is the start of a whole new series where I visit a coffee shop and make a mug inspired by it. Sometimes inspiration might be the interior, maybe the exterior, or even one of their drinks. And the reason why I'm doing this approach is because I realized I was spending too much time in my studio looking for inspiration and just endlessly scrolling through Pinterest or socials to feel inspired, which those are not bad outlets to look for inspiration, but I wanted to get myself out of my comfort and get myself out and explore a lot more. And this is just a great reminder that you don't have to find inspiration within your own creative medium. You can go explore other art forms and get inspiration from them. And what better way than to look for inspiration in something you already enjoy? So here we go. Coffee shop number 1, Marta. Now, the great part about San Diego is that there's so many different coffee shops available, and I don't think I'm gonna lose inspiration or run out of coffee shops to visit. And Marta is a brand new coffee shop too, right off of Adams. And the exciting part is that I've never been to this specific coffee shop. And let me tell you, their interior is stunning. It's still keeping that minimalist, clean warmth to it, but surprisingly, they added a lot of metal, which that's typically a very cool tone and can make things feel very sterile, but it actually does very, very well within the space. I was pretty shocked. Their tile is stunning. However, what really caught my eye was these lamps. The lamps felt very warm and intentional, and even though there was a little bit more of that structure to the lamp, it still felt very soft and warm. In coffee shops, you'll tend to see all of the earth tones and natural wood to get that warmth in there. They didn't just stick to that. They added more interest to it. And to nobody's surprise, this is a space where people were slowing down. It was packed in there and people were not getting up and leaving. They were there to stay. And I think that says something about it. So now that I have my inspiration, it's time to start sketching. And with sketching, it's nothing serious, it's nothing precious, it's nothing permanent. It's just taking notes of what I found to be my inspiration, why I enjoy it, what I could tweak up, and how can I translate that into a mug that 1, can be functional, and 2, can be aesthetically pleasing, because we all know those are my 2. So I'm thinking about shapes and proportions, looking at the lamp and seeing how can I add some of those natural curves in there, but also maintain the structure without it resembling decor and still be functional to drink out of. And honestly, sometimes I feel like we overcomplicate inspiration, but it's just about paying attention to what's around you and seeing what feels good to you. It wasn't about copying anything, because realistically, if I tried copying that lamp fixture, it was not gonna be doable. And it was not gonna be practical for drinking out of. It's about finding the inspiration and then translating it to a feeling that feels cohesive. So now that we have our inspiration and we've sketched out somewhat of a mug, I wanted the shape to feel grounded and very comfortable to hold. Something that you're naturally going to want to wrap your hands around, or just I don't know, just hold it, and just almost embrace the mug itself. So we have this overall roundness to it, and then we have a little bit more structure towards the top. And the most important thing I wanted to make sure as I was throwing this mug and this form, I still wanted to make sure it was practical in the way that it could be easily cleaned. I didn't want to do anything too sharp where somebody couldn't easily clean this, or create any crevices where bacteria could hide and grow. So if the inside is a little bit chunkier, that's okay. It could actually make it a little bit easier for cleaning. It can do a lot more of the refined detail. So in the trimming, I knew that it was going to be more about refining the form as opposed to doing something crazy with the footer. And because I want to keep this very minimal and most of the attention is the form itself, I didn't want to do crazy things with the footer. I just go flat. It's okay. I really don't care all that much right now. That could change later on. So we're keeping the foot simple and letting the form speak more. Now we're not gonna do anything crazy or insane with this, because again, this is gonna be a functional piece. We wanna leave a little bit of thickness for it, so then the heat from the coffee isn't necessarily burning your hand, but we do wanna remove a little bit more of that heaviness that could expose more sharp angles and more rounded curves for the form that we're doing. And now this is a hard part for me, because I actually enjoyed the overall form of the mug as is. I did not wanna attach a handle, but let me explain as to why I'm attaching a handle. A lot of people will say that it's too hot to hold or too cold to hold, and that's because ceramics is going to absorb the temperature regardless. I have to think about the consumer. Even though I'm not selling these or mass producing these, I still want it to be comfortable. Just because I have preferences doesn't mean that that's going to be everybody's choice. I enjoy the form as it is, and I really don't care about the mug being a little bit hotter than what I would want, because if it's too hot to hold, then it's too hot to drink for myself. And I actually like the warmth behind holding a mug. And for me, it's more just like embracing the mug that feels more comfortable. I'll tend to ignore a handle, and for me, a handle is just more aesthetic than anything. I know that's not everyone's opinion, and some people really need that handle in order to be able to drink their coffee. I decided to throw 2 of these. Now that we're looking into handles, we want to make sure that it has a similar vibe. So I wanted to go a little bit more structural with this on the outside and have that softness on the inside. Honestly, I'm still not a fan of the handle, but that's okay. We're just gonna keep the handle for those and have 2 different versions. All right, so for glazing, I want to keep the same color scheme that the lamps have. So I decided to go with alabaster that has a little bit more of a matte finish to it and feels like a very great neutral. If I wanted to go for a shine, I'd go for the vanilla dip. But then for the green, this is a little bit hard because I can't exactly color match some shades with commercial glazes, and I'm not gonna go through the trouble of making my own glaze. So for this one, I thought the best option was going to be, I don't remember what it's called, but I believe it's speckled olive. And it has these nice little speckles in there that could add a little bit more interest to it. We glazed it all on up and put it in the kiln and hoped for the best. And you know what? It actually turned out very, very well. And to be honest, yes, it's inspired by a coffee shop, but it's more inspired about like the warmth and the slow living lifestyle. Because right now what I love is that a lot of people are really into light fixtures and having those warm, homey elements that can come from a lamp or a fixture versus just having the big lights on. And doing this project reminds me that creativity doesn't have to disappear and it doesn't have to feel comfortable. It just needs a new input. However, we're not stopping here at the creation of a mug. The entire reason why we're making 2 mugs is because 1, I want to keep one, and remember this moment of me pushing myself in creativity while also remembering the different places I visited. However, I don't want to be selfish and just make this for myself. I want to gift the other mug and one of their baristas. So here we go back on over to Marta. And let me tell you, this was honestly the scariest part about the entire process, is just thinking like, what do I say and how do I say it? And let's hope that there isn't a long line where I'm gonna feel rushed and then I butcher the entire slowness and the care that went behind this project. There was a crowd at Martha, but there wasn't a line. And when I went up to order, both baristas were right there. So I got to share the entire story of the journey and a little bit of my background. And they really enjoyed the mug itself. They were amazed and they were so kind. I think I asked, make a latte of their choice. They tried asking me like what my profile was and what I really enjoyed. And I said, as long as it's oat milk, give me whatever you want. I want to be surprised. And let me tell you, I was very much surprised. But the baristas were amazing and they did a great job at picking out the drink. But just getting to know them even a little bit was like such a huge plus to this entire project. And honestly, this is why I love making functional wear, is because there's that beauty and creativity behind it, but there's also the reality that it gets to be used and the way that it can become a part of someone's everyday rhythm. Sitting down and drinking out of my own mug and it being inspired by the coffee shop I'm enjoying the drink at is honestly the best part. So all of this to say, if you feel like you're creatively stuck, I hope this encourages you to look outside of your art medium. Go somewhere new, try something new. And trust me, this series is not over. We're gonna be bringing you more mugs that are inspired by coffee shops. But for now, let me know in the comments what coffee shop do you want to see, even if it's not in San Diego, and we hope you keep creating and connecting. Bye.